Hiya. So it's me again, and I owe you guys, a video from yesterday, um, basically explaining why I've been gone, at least from the YouTube space. So I haven't necessarily been taking a break from content, but I was just shifting my goals elsewhere, um, and I wanted to basically fund a new character so that I can um, breathe some new life into my channel. Um, I've always wanted to do progression related content, but personally, I've never found it within myself to start a whole new account. Um, that'll basically amount to nothing. And obviously, I still want to make content. I want it to go both ways. So what I decided to do is I've actually decided to level up my dual blade. Um, so my dual blade a few months ago was level 230, and now it's level 269. And basically, what I'm gonna do once it hits loot level 270, I'm going to be starting this end game progression series, where pretty much I'll just maybe record a bit of daily progress in terms of what I do, and how I'm progressing my dual blade to pretty much be the strongest that I can be. And another reason why I'm doing this is because my cannoneer is pretty much at the point where it's done. I have one item left at 22 star, and all of its potentials are 27% or above, and all the flames are done. So to be completely honest, I'm kind of retiring my cannoneer until further notice. I'm only gonna do like some really min-maxy things if it starts to see items from the pitched boss set. And the reason why I say this is because my cannoneer doesn't have a badge. So it sounds a little superficial in the sense that I'm kind of giving up a character, but my goal in Maple has always to be the strongest that I can be, or closest to the number one spot that I can be. And I just currently don't think that is feasible for my cannoneer in the current state, unless if it gets a lot of good loot from bosses, which once again is up to RNG. So I'm kind of just putting it on the side and waiting to see what happens with it. Hence why I'm starting my DB. I've put all of the items onto my DB in the past few months. All the meso is just being funneled into my dual blade. The Misty Island Totem on my dual blade, it has a 95 stat flame. I have a potable badge on my DB. I have one droid heart and pretty much everything that you could potentially imagine. So my DB is going to be the new main, and I will basically make a progression series out of it when I hit 270. So content from now on is going to be split between clips of me doing semi-impressive things on my dual blade, and just the same content that you usually expect, like my guides and stuff like that. So I just wanted to give you guys like a visual reference of what's happening. So my cannoneer is pretty much done. Let me get my damage gear on. Perfect. So this is pretty much my cannoneer's gear. I have 2 set pitched through the book and the Source of Suffering, which did hit 22, luckily. And everything is done. WSE is pretty much as perfect as it can get. Everything is 22 stars except for one item. If you guys watched my Ignition Star Forcing video, you'll know that this cape is not budging. It's very, very strict, and it does not want to move. But everything besides that is pretty much completed. Besides like the little min-maxy things where I can fix the pots and stuff like that, right? So sometimes my potentials are not ideal. But I I only want to pursue, you know, these little things if it's actually worth me, you know, if it's worth the time to actually do it anyways. But considering that, you know, there's not really much left for me to do on, you know, this character, and it's pretty much hitting its potential, that's part of the reason why I want to fund my dual blade, right? The same thing for the Roar 3 and the Weapon Jump 3. Once again, like, it is a decent uplift in damage, but it doesn't really help what sort of content I can clear. And it would take an unreasonable amount of time to get a Roar 4 and a Weapon Jump 4. I'm just not going to make the assumption that I'm going to hit any of these rings, you know, in a very quick amount of time. Because Oz can be extremely unforgiving, considering that I haven't hit a single level 4 ring in over 2 million points. Which, I mean, to be honest, is still below the average for hitting a Roar 4. But yeah, in terms of Sacred Power, I'm at 200. I'm going to be 220 in just a little over a week or two. And that'll be pretty much enough Sacred Power to just obliterate Saren. And in terms of Kalos, it's more about just waiting out the extra Sacred Power, waiting for my Odium to hit level 5. You know, maybe if my Arcus goes to level 9 or my Cernium goes to level 11. And obviously in terms of Arcane Force, we're done. So yeah, nothing left to do on this character. So I'm going to show you guys what's currently on my dual blade. So this is my dual blade. Like I said, currently level 269. Just about 2 months ago, this thing was level 230. So I've gotten almost 40 levels in the span of 2 months. Hence why I haven't been making as much content. I've really been like pushing this thing to the max. So I've started a few things on my dual blade. So first of all, I'm getting help with my Genesis quest and killing the Black Mage. Thanks to Bag of Oreos, I have to shout him out and give credit. He is one of the nicest people I know. In terms of Oz, we're back in the same situation as my Cannoneer. We have both the Weapon Jump 3 and the Ring of Restraint 3. So I have started Oz on this character. I've been piecing its gears together. I've got the 5-set Arcane, and I do have some 22-star items and 21-star items. So my Sweetwater Katara is done. This is transposed. My CRA pieces are all 21 stars. And that's pretty much it in terms of its gear. Everything else is pretty much just bossing mule gear, 17 stars. I also have given it a complete set of drop gear, so it is 200 drop and 100 meso when farming. These are all of my drop equips. And to be honest, my dual blade has been funneling a huge amount of resources. Pretty much what I aim to do is just save up a bunch of spares and just full send on the next 5, 10, 15 and see what happens, so that, you know, by the time April comes around, I don't need to be getting carries anymore and I'm gonna start struggling it. Because I personally don't like, you know, leeching off of other people, because it's, you know, it's a rat kind of thing to do. In terms of damage gear, I have this, my Pap Mark, Dominator Pendant with a finished potential. That's not damage gear. 27% Superior Pendant, Guardian Angel Ring, and a Iconis Treasure with a finished potential. But is some special things that my Cannoneer doesn't have and that my dual blade has is, first, a Sengoku Hakase badge. The goated potable badge. It also has double prime, legendary potential, 3-line luck, 13, 13, 10. The amount of damage that this item alone is giving me is actually incredible. Especially considering that right now my gears aren't necessarily up to speed. So this is definitely like a really good boost for where I am in the game. In terms of my WSE, I have a 3-line attack emblem. I actually hit this a long time ago in like 800 mil worth of red cubes. I'm kind of lucky, you know. The Sweetwater Guitar, as I just showed a few minutes ago. Its potential isn't perfect. I'm well aware that Dual Blade actually does need 9 lines of attack to be ideal. But it's more than good enough for where I'm at, and I would rather spend the meso elsewhere. And in terms of the weapon, it's kind of just a placeholder until I get my Genesis, so we kind of just settled for the 2-line attack, 1-line luck. And then I also have the Misty Totem, our favorite event. Yeah, its flame isn't great, but I had to settle because I was starting to run out of flames. I only had 22 left, and by a sheer stroke of luck, we actually hit close to the 100 mark. I would have been much happier to see it get, you know, at least a tiny bit of all stat, to the point where I can see the 100 or 100 plus mark. But we fell just a little short, but it's still more than good enough. As long as it's not, you know, below 80 or below 70, I think we did a fairly good job. Sadly, I did put in a bunch of work just to get an average totem, but that's the sad truth of RNG. You win some and you lose some. But yeah, so look forward to me further progressing this character. In terms of the endgame progression series, it'll probably start when I hit level 270 and I start my Hotel Arcus dailies and all that. But yeah, I've also just been enjoying Dual Blade a lot more in comparison to my Cannoneer. The bossing is a lot more comfortable, especially in the like C10 to like Black Mage tier of bosses. I don't know how it'll play out for Saren and if anybody will be willing to take a Dual Blade for party bossing, but you know, I'm just following my gut and what I'm enjoying the most right now. I'm kind of going back to where I started in Reboot, and you know, I'm honestly looking forward to it. Dual Blade will always be one of my favorite classes. So yeah, that'll be it. That's all the explanation that I have. Sadly, I couldn't get a bunch of the recordings from when I first started at level 230, because my computer actually did die midway in between. I was actually trying to change one of the settings in my BIOS, so that my CPU and GPU could work to the best of their ability. For anybody who knows what resize bar is, yeah, that's the issue I ran into. I didn't have resize bar enabled because the boot partition was actually on my hard drive rather than my NVMe. Kind of fucked up. Don't know how that happened, because I remember on the Windows setup I most certainly put it onto my NVMe. So I don't know why I was booting off my hard drive, but that's, you know, we're all said and done past that. I'm on Windows 11 now. A lot of people say that it's really cringe, but I've been kind of enjoying it. But yeah, that'll be it. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and remember to like, comment, and sub, or I will literally boom your items at 12 stars faster than Star Forcing does. Peace out.